So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with
Lucas Garcia from Down Again.
we're gonna ask him some questions today. I'm gonna start. So, what inspired the creation of the band, and what does the band name mean?
Oh, that's a good question. Creation of the band, Down Again. We're just a group of friends. We actually used to be a different band. The three of us were in a band together called Forever for a Second, and we were best friends and in a band. And that band was like alternative rock, a lot like, Mayday Parade or All Time Low. And as we got older, we just basically not stopped liking that kind of music, but we definitely weren't writing that kind of music anymore.
Yeah.
And even the songs that we were playing as that group, they just didn't mean anything to us. We wrote those songs in high school, and I was like, honestly, I'm not trying to sing these same high school songs, almost in my 30s. So
Yeah,
we,
like 182.
Exactly. So we started recording, we started writing a new album, and we said, hey, let's go to record it. And then Lenny, our lead guy was like, man, the old name, the old band just doesn't fit what we're doing. And we're like, you know what, let's just start a new band, might as well. We got new music that's, completely different than what we did before. We don't even like our old music. So it was like, it just seemed right to start over.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there scratching our heads, like, what do we do with the name? Because there's so many bands out there. So there's a lot of taken names. And then one day we're all just thinking about it, shooting stuff back and forth. And Lenny texted in the group chat, what about Down Again? I don't know where he came up with that. Somehow he came up with it. And as soon as me and our bass player Alex heard that, we're like, that's the one. No more ideas on the table. Like, just don't even suggest anything else. This is what we're going with.
Okay.
Solid. All right. It was love at first sight for that name.
Oh yeah. Let me text Lenny real quick. He's like, did it work? Did you get in the meeting? So I got to let him know I'm in.
That's fair. Are you
but-
okay if I ask a question while you're typing?
Yeah, anything you want. Sorry, I'm done texting you.
Cool. So congratulations on your upcoming EP, Live Acoustic Sessions. How do you feel about the response to that announcement so far?
I'm not going to lie. I was expecting there to be like, I thought no one was going to like it. Cause look, it's not just an acoustic EP, it's live. And I don't know, like personally, it's like, I don't see too much out there for the live acoustic stuff. So I was afraid that there was going to be no response. Everyone's gonna be like, okay, whatever, live acoustic performances of the same songs. But we actually got pretty positive feedback. We dropped an acoustic video. So we filmed a video for one of the songs, and it got way better feedback than I thought. I honestly thought this was just going to be something to put out there just to keep putting out music, but people seem to be interested. It got a lot of positive response. It got, quite a few views pretty quickly. So I was excited. I wasn't expecting that kind of response. So now we're even more excited to drop the rest of the EP.
Hell yeah.
Definitely. That's awesome.
I mean, this one was very interesting because, like, Glory knows I trash on a lot of acoustic music.
Yeah, he doesn't like
But
acoustic.
I promise I'm going in a positive direction with this. This was like it was more stripped down than your average acoustic thing, and like you could feel the emotion as well, which I very much liked from the EP while listening to it. It took a second to like warm up to that because it was like so raw, but as the EP progresses, like, this is something I can get behind. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. People want to say, what do you mean by raw? It's like, there's literally, when people record acoustic music, there's all kinds of effects and all this stuff. We literally just plugged in and like, okay, like what we do is what we're going to get. If I mess up on the guitar, it's going to be on the EP. If Lenny messes up on the singing, it's going to be on the EP. So
no pressure.
Yeah.
So what was it like taking your songs from like that studio and then, stripping them down to this like raw acoustic vibe?
I'm not gonna lie, it was stressful. There was times where I doubted if it was even going to be possible. For instance, there's 2 piano songs on the EP where it's just me playing piano and Lenny singing. And I even was saying up front, like, man, this is going to be garbage. Like, these songs aren't going to translate to the piano. It's going to be clunky. But Lenny's like a visionary. He's like, just try it. And then I remember as soon as I like started writing it, I sent him like this, literally just filmed myself playing it. I sent him like, this is going to be my favorite piano music. Like, it translated way better than I imagined. I was actually being a real Debbie Downer. I was like, man, this is going to suck. Like, these aren't going to translate good. We're wasting time and money. But I became really, really excited with how the piano one's translated, and even with the acoustic stuff, because I've never played them, as a group acoustically. It's funny because the songs were pretty much written on the acoustic guitar and then translated to full band and then bringing it back to the acoustic. I was worried how it was gonna work, but in the end, I was very excited, and we all were. Me, Alex, and Lenny were all excited with how it came out.
Hell yeah.
I'm awesome. I'm awesome to hear that. That's not how that works. I'm very happy to hear that it came out like that. So yeah. So you guys actually put a new song on the EP, Gray. So I want you to tell me your favorite lyric off of Gray and the meaning behind it.
Am I allowed to say a bad word on this podcast?
Yeah, of course. Go for it.
Lenny says lyric goes, run away, get the fuck away from me. I cannot speak to Lenny's heart because Lenny wrote that lyric. But when he said that, he sent me the demo of the EP, and it was just him playing the guitar and singing. And it got to that line where it says, run away, get the fuck away from me. I called him. I was like, that's the line, man. It like hit me in my soul, gave me chills. I like took it off and showed my wife. And again, Lenny wrote the song himself, so I don't 100% know where he's at with it. But for me, when I hear that line, and also just kind of what the song's about, there's other lines in the song that goes, it says hypocrite, piece of shit. Basically like reflecting on, or Lenny's like reflecting on himself. He's singing about himself. And me and Lenny are like, for some reason, we go through similar things in life. So when I hear that, even though he wrote it, resonates a lot with me. And so when I hear the word run away, get the fuck away from me, the first thing that comes to my mind is, I have my loved ones, I have my wife, I have my daughter, my best friends, my family. And I know for myself, like, sometimes it's hard to stay in line. It seems like I always got these inner demons, inner battles going on. And when I hear that, it's almost like, to me, it reminds me of like kind of how I feel sometimes, where it's like, man, it would be easier if my loved ones would just run away, because then I would never disappoint them. So that's what I think about it when I hear that lyric, because it just reminds me of how much I'm afraid of disappointing my loved ones, and almost like it's inevitable, just knowing my own personal character. I know I'm going to let them down. And every time I hear that line, it just breaks my heart, because in a good way, I love it. It resonates with me in such a strong, powerful way. Yeah. And it just reminds me of where I'm at, in my personal relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I like that.
God. Yeah, that was good.
So I got one more question about this live session before we start beating the shit out of that new single that happens to be on the live session. The name of the producer is completely slipping my mind, but they've worked with some bands like Kingdom of Giants. So I want to know like how that came about, what that experience was like. Just tell me everything about it.
So Nick Loicano at Fang Studios. I've actually known of Nick because he's been in the band world for so long, and I've been in the band world for so long. So I've played shows where he was like featuring in, as the guest guitarist on this band or that band. And man, Kingdom of Giants is just so incredible right now. They're just blowing up, and their music is so amazing. But I knew of Nick Loicano just from seeing him on stage with bands like Kingdom of Giants, and this other band at the time was called As Artifacts, and he had played with them as a fill-in guitar player. And then when I found out he recorded music and found out and listened to what he recorded, I was like, this is the guy we have to go to.
Yeah.
And so one of those weird things, like he's our good friend at this point because we've recorded with him so much, but there's a little bit of like a fangirl aspect to our relationship.
Of course, yeah.
Where it's like, because he also, he's really good friends with this band called Spite, which is just like the super heavy band. They're like one of the best bands to ever exist, in my opinion. And I'm always feel like, hey, so how's you got any connections with that band Spite? Can we just talk to them for a couple minutes just to fangirl? But yeah, Nick is he's the best producer in the world, in my opinion, man. He brings so much to the table. He knows more about all of the instruments than us, the musicians, know. So he really helps us take the music to the next level.
Oh yeah. All right.
Definitely. Happy you got a chance to work with them. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So as Shane said, we're going to start beating the crap out of your new single now.
Okay. I'll try my best to answer.
Thank you. So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this single?
For this one, this one was completely different than our normal writing process. A lot of the times for every other song, I'll send Lenny a part, or Lenny will send me a part, or our bass player Alex will send us a part, or we'll send him a part, and we all kind of talk about it together. Lenny literally just sent us a finished song. like whoa, like I mean not finished. It was just him playing the guitar and singing over it, and I was like, holy crap. I was like, you just had this random brainchild and he just put it out
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. And so when he sent it, of course, we as a band had a couple of critiques. We're like, okay, let's change this, change the feel of this.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, Lenny really, he just had a brainchild that was glorious, and it there wasn't much we had to do to change it. We changed some stuff with like the beginning of the song is a little bit different than what it was in the original demo, but basically what he sent that we just barely changed a couple things here and there, and then let him take off with it. So,
all right,
awesome.
So, I mean, it sounds like Lenny wrote most of the song, but where was your headspace at while you were kind of like adding things to it, listening through the track, things like that?
For me, this is different than anything we've ever put out. And so, when Lenny brought it to me, he's like, hey, we're going to have to do different things. Like I had to write drums to it, which that's probably a little bit of a spoiler alert because there's no drums on the acoustic recording.
Well, I kind of figured there was going to be a studio recording of this one.
Okay, good. I don't want to break the news eventually. But when we were working out the finished product of the song, for me, this is different than anything we've ever written, just the vibe. Lyrically, I will say it matches everything, but the actual tone of the music, it doesn't have the same dark minor vibe that we usually go with. A lot of the songs on our first record, written in a minor key, and you could definitely tell like, okay, this is going to be a little bit of a sad aggression. It didn't really have that feel in the beginning. And so for me, I was actually worried, like, is this going to fit, with all of our music as a whole?
Yeah.
Given that it just comes out the gate almost left field. It's just so different than all of our other music. But then when I listened to the lyrics that, Lenny was sending over and then how they resonated with me, I'm like, okay, this is perfect. It's just another way for us to express, something. And it took me a little while, but like I learned to like really, really love it a lot. But like I said, yeah, it was so different at first than anything we worked on. So it was a little bit of an adaptation period there.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right. So while listening to the song, what band or artist influences pop out the most to you, if any?
Well, for me, considering a full band version, bands that I am influenced by the most, it's just really funny because this song doesn't sound anything like them. But if you listen to Under Oath, Aaron Gillespie just goes so nuts on the drums. That's all I want to do. Just how do I go as nuts as possible?
Yeah.
So given that eventually, we want to do a full band version, that's what I'm going at. Where Lenny's at though, I can't really speak for him. You mind if I shoot him a text? I'll ask him where his headspace was when writing it, and we can see.
Sure.
What inspired you to write Gray? But we've been listening to so many different kinds of music, from the hardcore, from everything from like almost like death metal to literally Taylor Swift. And I feel like this is a mash of that,
Yeah.
And I know specifically Lenny listens to even a wider range of music than the rest of the band. So there's so many elements of bands, pulling through to make this one work.
Just all over the place.
It's weird to say Lenny was probably inspired by Taylor Swift's newest album and then also Spite's newest album, which is like opposite ends of the
polar
spectrum.
Opposites. Yeah.
Yeah. But somehow he comes together and makes stuff work.
Yeah. Wait, so is your goal for like every song to go like as crazy as you can on the drums?
When I was younger, it used to be, but now it's a no, because now I play more guitar.
Okay.
So when I write the songs, or when me and Lenny are writing songs, or me, Lenny, and Alex are writing, I'm always more guitar driven. Okay. And then when it comes to the drums, I try to go as hard as I can, or as much headbanging as I can do. But I did have to break the habit of. I used to just want to play as fast as I could all the time.
Yeah.
In order to write a good, collective album,
cohesive, yeah.
You can't just go as fast as you can all the time. So I had to chill out a little bit.
Yeah,
that's fair. I get that.
So is there a certain feeling you want your listeners to have while going through the track? It can be, this live version that you've got, or this
upcoming studio.
The studio version that isn't even recorded yet.
Yeah. For me, I always want, even though, we sing a lot about very specific stuff, and if it's about something specific in our lives, we hope that listeners, when they listen, they don't necessarily focus on the minute specificness of it. We want listeners to be able to take it and change it to something that means something to them, which is what I do when I listen to it, even though I don't, I didn't go through the exact same thing Lenny went through to write the song, yet I can take that line, run away, get the fuck away from me. And I can bring it to my own personal life in a way that Lenny never intended. And that's what we hope with the listener. We hope that a listener would listen to the song, maybe pick out a few words here and there that resonate with them. And if it doesn't mean what we mean it to mean, that's totally fine. We want it to mean something special to you, unique to you. So that's what we
Solid.
want people to go through.
That's good. All right, that's fair. So where do you see the band in the next 5 years?
That's an interesting question, because for us, there's what we want, and then we want to, in the next 5 years, we would love to be touring if that's possible. If the world opens back up, we want to hit the road and promote our music as much as we can, and play as much shows as we can. In 5 years, I would just basically hope that we have that opportunity to be touring. But if not, we're not necessarily worried, because we're going to keep writing music. So in 5 years, there's still going to be Down Again albums, whether the world opens up or not. If it's one of the things where it's like, oh man, touring's out the gate, the world never opened back up, we're still going to be dropping albums. So in 5 years, I really hope we're on the road. If not, we're just going to be in the studio.
All right.
Okay, that's fair. I'd rather you guys be on the road, though.
We're dying. We're dying to get on the road.
Yeah.
So for the last couple questions, we're actually shift away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Boom again.
Last meal with a drink. I'm obsessed with chicken and waffles.
Ooh, so true. Very good.
I don't know why.
Very
like fried chicken and waffles is like my favorite. It's just a combination of salt and sweet. So it would probably be fried chicken and waffles, and with a nice cold Dr. Pepper. That just seems like it'd be my go-to meal if I'm gonna die.
That's solid. All right. Are you like a maple syrup person on chicken and waffles, or like a secret sauce?
I'm not the kind of person who puts the chicken in the syrup, though. I just
people do that?
Yes, they pour it all over the top. Oh no, I like the salty and I like the sweet, so I just want to eat them separately. But maple syrup, as much as you can put on there, I'm happy with.
So true. All right. So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Oh, it's got to be Lord of the Rings. I'm obsessed with, I mean, if you're going to live there, though, you also got to be, you can't be one of like the humans. It's better to be like an elf or something like that.
Yeah.
Luxury. But yeah, if I could live in that world, that'd be super cool. Do all kinds of magic and stuff.
Yeah. That'd be sick. Yeah.
So I've been on my last question, and every single person who's spoken to have said that it is the most important question.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
Oh, I mean, it's depressing, but I just like black. Not to be some weird angsty emo.
Don't call them out.
If I had to pick, I just think black's the coolest. I love, dark art, dark clothes. But if I had to really pick like a real color, I'll probably say blue.
Okay.
Blue. It's a great color.
Blue, so.
All right.
Solid. Good choice.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Oh, if I had to plug anything, I could plug what Lenny was inspired by when he wrote the song.
Go for it.
Yeah, sure.
All right, this is my plug. Okay, I'm just gonna read the text. I probably should proofread it first, but
yeah.
So this is what Lenny's saying. What inspired him to write Gray? He said, "I was just feeling like shit about myself, and that's what inspired it." And he laughs. He says he remembers being he was real shitty in a relationship, and feeling like that wasn't who he was anymore, and was wishing he could take back all the stupid things that he said. And then he says, "This is what I wrote about it in our press release." He said, "The track is about reflecting on a past relationship while dealing with feelings of self-loathing and regret. Looking back at who I was and the mistakes I made when I was younger. It's really painful," said Costa. "I remember feeling so confident that I knew what was right and wrong. And now that I've had time to grow up, I can see how naive I really was." So that's basically what Lenny told me inspired him to write the song.
Okay.
Outside of that, if I had to plug anything, it'd be two people, but kind of in one. Again, Nick Loicano, because he just recorded a band called Death by Fireworks' new single. They're an absolutely amazing band from the Bay Area of California. And if anybody is looking for good, indie alternative music, Death by Fireworks, their new single recorded by Nick Loicano at Fang Studios, is the place to go.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank you for now. This has been Lucas from Down Again and we're the Good Noise Podcast.